Do you believe in life after death?
Yes, I do. Yes.
My name is Gregory Clifton Smith. I'm the close vicar at the cathedral, which basically means I'm like a chaplain in the cathedral. Well, as a Christian priest, I absolutely believe there is a life beyond this.
A last-ditch battle is underway to try to save the oldest house in Portsmouth. Wimmering Manor House dates from the 11th century, and it's said to be haunted by no less than 18 ghosts. I don't know who's counting.
It's almost certainly the oldest house in Portsmouth and is definitely the most haunted, yet
By church, the many occupants and the constant comings and goings have resulted in the presence of ghosts.
My name's Andrew Mason. I'm one of the trustees of Wimmering Manor Trust. Through here we had he was the last youth hostel manager who claimed to have seen a man hanging, the ghost of a man hanging from the ceiling in here. But this, when the Reverend Nuji had the house in the 1860s, this was his bedroom.
What you do in the Lord is not in vain. You are not oiling the wheels of a machine that's about to fall over a cliff.
What I believe happens when I will die as a Christian is I think that I will, in a spiritual sense, go and be with Christ in heaven. Now, I don't really know what that's like because I don't think the Bible talks about it very much. But the central hope of Christianity, and this is really what I believe will happen to me after I die, is that one day God will raise my body from the dead, and that my body will be the same body, but it will be completely transformed. And I live in a new creation. The Bible uses this phrase, the new heavens and the new earth. So that place is like this earth, but it's a transformed reality. It's like this earth, but with all of the things that make this earth negative not present. So there's no crying, there's no pain, there's no tears.
I think it's the second week of caring. I'd come into an early shift. I remember the date because it was the first time I saw a dead person. It was both strange and humbling because I had to wash this dead person, patient but person to me, and it's kind of like the final act of caring you can do for someone. I'm Joshua Pickard. I am a physio assistant as well as a healthcare or carer or a nursing assistant at Salisbury District Hospital, and I've been doing it for 2 years. A carer can use a wide range of things. It involves one-on-one with patients. You have to be great with people skills. You also have to be able to wash, like do catheters, drain. Basically, you can't do it if you're squeamish. And then physio assistant is the same. You build almost a better rapport because you get one patient in a spot, whereas it's a carer. It's all about prepping patients, making sure they're well looked after.
The absolutely central tenet of the Christian faith is that Jesus Christ died and then rose again 3 days later. And so what that does is it gives people who follow the Christian faith hope that earthly death is not the end. I mean, I remember when I was a teacher, I went with some children to one of the rocket launching sites in northern France, so these sites where Hitler launched the V2 rockets. And one of the things that impresses you as soon as you go there, and people say this about Auschwitz and the concentration camps, no bird sound, nothing. There's this kind of oppressive silence, and you kind of sense that something awful has happened there.
I don't think people want to hear about friendly ghosts. They want to hear about nuns with hands dripping in blood. This is the imaginatively titled panelled room, supposedly where much of the hauntings happen in the house. As I say, I've been in here before, I've sort of been a bit lightheaded, and a lot of people sort of find this room quite oppressive.
So I'm walking down the hallway, I'm turning off the lights, I just tuck my hand around the doorway to turn the den light off, just switch it off, that's all I do. And this could be circulation, could be muscle spasm, could be anything, tendons, ligaments. But in my wrist, it freezes. Something holds me there. It feels cold. My whole hand goes cold. Again, could be circulation. But in that moment, I felt it was something else. And I couldn't see into the darkness. The door was half closed. And I just felt like something had held my wrist. It wasn't necessarily bad, but obviously it freaked me out.
I think you see in the hospital in which I worked, some of the people in the hospital were mental health patients, and they had profound experiences of what they believed to be paranormal activity, and they would hear voices and they'd have all kinds of stuff. But there clearly are people who are mentally not unwell that also have a sensitivity to paranormal activity. I can't say that I've actually seen a ghost. I mean, I don't have any difficulty with believing that ghosts exist, because if you believe in a life after death, it's quite easy intellectually to say, well, perhaps there are some people that get lost, they get sort of, that for whatever reason are held back.
These kind of new atheist types like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, I find them very interesting. I read their books. But one of the things they say is that faith is believing something without any evidence. And I don't actually think that that is what faith is. I think faith is more like trust, in the way that I trust my wife. And I have good reasons to trust my wife. But trust involves more than just having evidence and reason, although those things are present.
Who knows what happens after death? I mean, to get a proper kind of view upon death, you have to have an accurate perspective upon life, and that's what you've got to do. I mean, for me, personally, life is huge. Like the organisms that make up our body, we are like the organisms that make up the world. If I'm to stick out my finger in front of my nose, and this be the history of the planet Earth, we as humans, our entire civilization is literally just the edge of my nail. And that's the whole history, 400 billion years of Earth. So I like to think of myself as small, but I'm part of the system. As humans, that's what we are. So in life, we need each other. But in death, I don't know, I see so many people who've come into hospital and someone's been overtaking a car on the wrong side of the road, and they go full on into a young family, and that father is now either disabled for life, even though they weren't doing anything wrong, and it's always someone else. It's not always, but that's sometimes how you can see it. So for me personally, I hope there is something that judges you.
And again, from my work as a chaplain, really, I've been with people in pretty dark places, emotionally and spiritually dark places. And my own hospital experience is really not that God puts people in these places, but that people put themselves in these places. So to put yourself outside the love of other human beings, outside the love of God, and to totally, to abuse people through your earthly life. Certainly if you abuse children, you abuse vulnerable people, I think there has to be a sense of justice.
My mum, she's very spiritual. She'll always say that her parents, who have passed away, my grandparents, are looking down and protecting her. That's kind of the Indian way. People who pass away, loved ones, will look down and protect you. It's not just Indian, many cultures embrace this. But our family cat, lovely creature, very good eye contact, really beautiful cat. Whenever he sat on my mum's lap or looked up at my mum, he'd never meet her eyes. Always like over the shoulders, never like something was there watching over her. And Mum used to say that it could potentially be her parents or even any other spirit, but Denzel, our black cat, would never look at my mum's eyes, always over the shoulders. And when he was like purring on her lap, over the shoulders again.
There's a lot of things that we do not understand, a lot of things that I don't understand, and I guess within my framework of belief I would say, well, hopefully beyond death I will understand them.